Okay, folks, I'm a couple of minutes early. I'm just going ahead and logged in here, and I'm not going to really start anything yet. So don't sweat that. I want to see if anybody even wants to do this. Hey, real response. I just thought it'd be fun. And if everybody's got other plans, that's cool. It was something that just kind of struck me. Maybe if you're home and bored, but who knows what people are doing this evening. So we'll give it a shot. Got 3 minutes to go here, and then now let's see. We'll give it a shot. Got 3 minutes to go. There we go. All right. I assume that everyone is familiar with remote viewing. I'm not sure of that. So I'm going to cover in a little introduction, basically, of going on. We'll start a watch party here. Let's see. Oh, let's put it right here. Here we go. And I'm going to have several windows open so I can do chats. So I'm going to cover and whatnot. Oh gosh, I can't have that. Wow. Can't have that. There we go. So you come back over here. We got about 2 minutes left. And let's see if we got any. Showed a couple of people waiting in line to watch. Let's see what is going on. Here, I'm going to be able to handle all my chats. I thought I was going to have some help tonight, but I'm not. Everybody's got something else to get going on here. 2 comments. Hey, Brandon. Yeah, we'll do some remote viewing. And I've started. Want to get tuned up here a couple of minutes before start time. I've kind of put the word out. Sheltering in place. Alabama, we are, like most places right now, we are shut down. They were calling it sheltering in place, and now they're calling it what? Staying at home. Stay home orders. So welcome to stay home orders. 7 o'clock. I've got a couple of people in here. If you are around, and I've got to switch back and forth. I don't have any help with the chat rooms. If anybody wants to step in on, I've got a watch party going on, and then I've got it streaming on YouTube as well as here on Facebook at Abnormal Alabama. And then I start a watch party on my personal page. And let's see. Shows I got some here on as well. All right, I'm going to get started. So I'm not going to assume anybody knows a lot about remote viewing. I think we've all heard of it. Maybe somebody's dug into it. Maybe they haven't. So let's see what we can educate ourselves with here. And I say ourselves. It's something I've heard about and I've known about for years and years. Back, there were even some CIA documents released. They had quite a program going for some time on remote viewing. And best I can understand, it was a so-so result rate. But we're not going to focus on that because who knows what you guys are able to do. And that's the whole thing. I want to kind of go over some. Not going to be intensive with this. We're going to have some fun with it. And so we're going to start out. Well, first of all, let me just start from the beginning. Remote viewing. Depending on who you ask, remote viewing is a variety of things, I guess, to a variety of people. It's a little bit confusing to learn when there's so many definitions to something. What I focus on remote viewing is a term like martial arts, which there's different, there's, Taekwondo, Jiu-Jitsu, karate, and so forth. And could be the same with remote viewing. So we're going to get right into it. It's pretty much what it says, remote viewing. And some people, ever since I've studied with it, get into a mode. It's kind of like, almost like being a psychic, except you're not reading somebody's mind. You're doing this remote view thing. So certain rules go into place with this. The techniques that work successfully are the most successfully of any that's been tried. One is to describe, not to identify. And what that means is you see shapes, and I've seen this before. So you've got paper in front of you, and you just relax, and you just focus. Let your mind go, and you're reaching out, and you want to find where a certain place you want to tune into to see what you see. And so most people just start, and they have several sheets of paper, and they'll start drawing. They may see lines, not really understand what those lines mean. It may be not real defined shapes. So that's why they draw these shapes they see on blank pieces of paper. Subtle flashes of color, even a smell, a taste, or an idea, or even a quick picture that might pop in your mind. So aside from naming the words, the words that identify what you're looking at, you write them down to the right side of your page. Words to describe can be written on the left. You got words to describe on the left, and you got words to identify on the right, if that makes any sense. So description would be, I see a mound or something like that. I see what looks like a hill. And so you keep that on the left side of the page. If there's any words that pop into your mind that identify something specific, write that in a column on the right side. So we do this uniform. It's easy to go back and review this, because the process can take a while. It can be a little bit confusing as you go through the process. And you're not trying to just what comes to your mind. If you have a certain color, you put that color here. If all of a sudden it's like, church, just write church on the right side. So something kind of vague would go on the left, something that more specific would go on the right. So you write everything down. Now you can, some people will go to a point of recording it instead of writing it. If you're in a position to fine, you can do a recording using your smartphone, or just lay it down in a recording mode, and then you can describe what you're seeing and not have to transcribe it at that moment. As you go through the process, recording it can maybe keep you a little bit more focused. You've got to use, of course, record it. That means you've got to speak what you're seeing. If you're just writing it down, you don't have to be audible with it. So you can do it either way. But if you do make a recording of it, you're going to have to go back through it and then make notes from that recording. Just keep that in mind. When images come to mind, write down what you see, and then go back and just take in the colors, texture, smells, sounds, taste, shapes, patterns, positions, sizes. You get more detail. So you write down what you see, and then you focus on what you see and see what details come out of that, and then you write those down. In other words, something that looks like a high-rise building or a park. So write down park. And then under that, you would write, oh, I see a sidewalk, a curvy sidewalk, trees. If you see flowers in the park, you'd say, well, I see roses, I see petunias, whatever kind of flowers you see, you get more detailed. And if you just follow that and let it lead you from there, and you'll be amazed at how just following these 3 simple rules really help you as you sift through the many thoughts that come to mind and simply focus on describing what comes to you as you allow yourself to remote view target site. Now, what we're going to do in our experiment initially is I've got a series of pictures that I'm going to pull up on my screen here that you're not going to be able to see. And each one of you will be able to try to target that and see what you get from that. Now, there's 3 different types, techniques of remote viewing that we can look at. And that's associative remote viewing, which is ARV. You can choose to learn associative remote viewing. It's done by associating something easy to view with something more difficult to view. Numbers and letters tend to be more difficult for remote viewers to view, mainly because they're man-made constructs from the left brain. Remote viewing is a right-brained activity for the most part. You've got extended remote viewing, ERV, which is probably the most popular type of remote viewing. The viewer gets in a laying down or a couch recliner, very relaxed, almost in a hypnotic state. And then someone, either a hypnotist or an interviewer, would interview you, the remote viewer, about what you're seeing. The target is what it's called. The word target's whatever the viewer is supposed to view. So if I'm saying I've got a picture on my screen, I want you to be relaxed. I want you to let your mind go into targeting this picture on my screen. I could say I'm out in the public. I'm going to be out here, and I want you to focus on what I see. So wherever I am would become the target site. Then controlled remote viewing, it puts the emphasis on in a structure. There is a structure to it. If you've ever had a chance to study the history of remote viewing, you'll find that the military hired Standard Research Institute, SRI, to research clairvoyance, telepathy, and other forms of ESP. And there were 2 physicians there, Russell Targ and Hal Puthoff. Eventually ended up working with an amazingly gifted psychic named Ingo Swann. Swann developed a written set of protocols to be worked on paper within a structure he called coordinate remote viewing, which it's called now controlled remote viewing. And you can have a target of somebody jumping out of a plane in a parachute. And they don't know what's going on, but they would sketch something on a piece of paper. And it's designed to, and this control method is designed to help the viewer separate a true psychic perception from just their imagination. It's like filing cabinet or doors organizing your mind. Your thoughts pour in, and the control remote viewing process allows you to organize them on the page. This technique introduces and utilizes ideograms, which are symbols that the viewer develops to connect him or her to various aspects of the different side. So, what we want to do now is let me go over here and see what we've got going on. All right. Brendan, you got any questions? The 3 different places I got to look, see if anybody's got any questions here or anything. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to put this out. I don't know if I'll get any subjects to participate in this. So I wanted to give us a shot. And we've got the rest of the month at least to play around with some ideas. And I thought, my God, we're in a situation where we're kind of locked down. Even the states that are not in this curfew thing, sheltering in place, there's not much to do. Bars closed, restaurants closed, movie theaters are closed. So any of the things that you would normally do in the evenings and daytime either, it's history. So I thought, let's do some remote viewing. What a better time to play around with this than now. And I did not have a chance to get this out too far in the future. So what I want is I'm gonna leave this up. I'm gonna shut it down because I'm 11 minutes into it. We're not getting anybody participating at this point. I can tell on my screen here um, if I've got any viewers or not. So I didn't get this out early enough. I guess if people had Netflix to watch or whatever, and that's fine. It was spur of the moment thought. If you're interested in doing this, if you're interested in pursuing this, all I can say is let me know. Message me on Abnormal Alabama, or on my Facebook page, on YouTube, wherever you're watching this now. And I'll put up a poll as far as a date and a time that we could do this, and this will be better planned in advance, so we can kind of go that route. So if you're interested, we will set up next week. We can do it tomorrow, but if we do this, the more people we got involved in it, the better. And if we need to do it at midnight, I don't care. Right now, it's like nothing going on anyway. Some people do have jobs that are going, and a lot don't. So right now I'm getting no participation. Everybody's got other things on their mind, and I am going to shut it down. And well, there's 2 people watching now. If anybody wants to participate in this, give me some kind of indication. And if not, we will reschedule this. If you're watching this live, or if you're watching it in an archive version, that'll be on YouTube, Abnormal Alabama, or on Facebook. Either way, I'm going to put a poll out after this kind of an introductory thing. I'm going to put a poll out, and what's the best time for us to do this? I think it'd be fun. Remote viewing. We're looking for ways to maybe educate ourselves and also to entertain ourselves. And whatever you think about remote viewing, it could be a fun exercise. So, okay, I'm going to shut down the watch party. All right. And I'll give one more scan here. I think that 15 minutes, if nobody's shown up in 15 minutes, I think we're just going to reschedule this. So somebody gave it a thumbs up, but I'm not getting any participants. So it's not going to be any fun for me just to do my regular blah, blah, blah. I went through, and you'll watch the beginning of this, I went through a description of different types of remote viewing and what remote viewing in brief is. I'm not going to do it's not a real intense thing that we're going to do. We're going to do a very basic thing. I've got a lot of photographs that are going to become the target as we do this. And it's I would describe it like the target is an activity at a location. And that's what I'd want you to focus on. And in a group, we'll see, you draw it out. As I stated before, on a piece of paper, what's your mind seeing? What is being brought to you? Do you see light? Do you see dark? Do you see colors? Do you see people? Do you see buildings? Just what do you see? And it could be very vague figures. It doesn't have to be anything that in great detail that you're dealing with there. So anyway, there you go. I appreciate we are going to pursue this later, but for the time being, after 15 minutes, it's like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to get this out. So I'm going to put a poll out and see if anybody's interested in doing this, and we'll take it from there. Hope everybody has a great evening.